They teach magicians to control the crowd with their eyes. Wherever the magician's eyes goes, the crowd will follow, which means the magician's tricks, or properly termed experiments, are actually outside of the eyesight of the viewer and himself. The art of magic deals with the implementation of illusion. The magician is an actor acting like he is a person with supernatural powers. But in reality, he just knows how to manipulate his environment, which then manipulates the crowd in shock and awe of his experiments. The funny thing about professional sports, and more specifically the National Basketball Association, is that its storyline scripting is nothing short of magical. If you ask an average person on the street and ask them where they would think the rigging of the NBA would take place, they would say Los Angeles, California. Hollywood, with the shining lights, bright stars, and storied Lakers. But always remember, the magician's eyes are telling you where they want you to look, so they can perform their acts out of sight and out of most people's minds. I will present to you the real magicians of the National Basketball Association, and possibly the whole American sports industrial complex. Follow me down the rabbit hole as I uncover the real magicians and their tricks over the sports enthusiast's mind. But first, a poem. The teller of tales, creating the storylines from east to west with the wind behind his sails. When the magician tells you to look here, then there, just know the experiment is being accomplished elsewhere, to keep you in the dark like the elf on the shelf until the present is perfectly wrapped for you. These kinds of magicians aren't wanting to just entertain you, they want to entrain you, then contain you mentally. The best magicians never leave anything up to chance, captivating you in a way where you won't ever see outside of the show, and you won't even know. The true magicians of the NBA. But in this documentary, that ends today. My gift to you is to unglue the backboard holding the contraption of the National Basketball Association together, which, interestingly enough, leads us to a place with snowier weather. Before going into the final decodes, I want to read a few passages from the book Our Magic, written by legendary magicians Neville Maskelyne and David Devant, on the topic of misdirection, which we can see in the NBA with the misdirection, which forms the groundwork of real magic, does not consist in telling lies, with the object of deceiving the spectator's intelligence, which in most cases is what happens when watching professional sports. Real magic consists, admittedly, in misleading the spectator's senses in order to screen from detection certain details from which secrecy is required. A magician should be able to see almost everything he can need to see without actually looking at it. Misdirection by disguise consists in a skillful blending of suspicious and innocent details in such a manner that the former are overlooked. In other words, it depends upon making quote-unquote fakey things look as though they were free from sophistication. The real inwardness of this principle is far too often unrecognized by magicians, though an audience will never lose sight of it. It is not enough to have the sophistications hidden by blobs, thickness, or deformities of quote-unquote decoration, so the spectators cannot see what is underneath. On the contrary, magical appliances should be so constructed that their inner devices are not concealed by a mere covering of some sort, but are disguised by blending with the general structure. In fact, so far from suggesting the possibility of there being anything discoverable, a magician's accessories should rather look like objects of normal construction, which nobody would associate with trickery. If the simulation be not good, spectators cannot be expected to believe that the object simulated is where it is supposed to be. In short, every sense is open to misdirection, and thus may be made to serve the ends of a skillful magician.
Join my Patreon today for only $5 to receive a monthly esoteric documentary on your favorite sports athletes and events. Real, raw, uncut, and uncensored without the limitations of YouTube. Join today to see the other side of the sports world.